What is up, YouTube? This is T-Quentin1 coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to talk to you about Toy Story 2. Since Don Rickles, who plays Mr. Potato Head in these films, passed away recently, and I already reviewed the first one, I figured this would be a good time to review the sequel. Now, the first Toy Story was a huge hit, one of the biggest surprises of the 1990s, so it's no surprise that Disney and Pixar opted to continue the story. But with such a good standalone film, how can you not make it feel forced? Well, I'm not entirely sure how they did it, but Toy Story 2 is an improvement over the first movie. Not a huge improvement, mind you, because the first one was so good, but just being as good would be an incredible feat. The fact that this one is a little bit better, damn impressive if you ask me. One of the biggest positives is the story is surprisingly engaging, with a lot of undertones of growing up. And despite the stakes not being especially high, I still cared about these characters. Now, the returning characters, of course, are super lovable, with Tom Hanks as Woody and Tim Allen as Buzz maybe being my all-time favorite movie duo. Their sort of burgeoning relationship in the first movie has given way to them becoming actual friends, and they have some great chemistry. They bounce off each other really well and have some really funny lines between them. Speaking of that, Toy Story 1 was funny in its own right, but Toy Story 2 is downright hilarious. When I rewatched it, I knew it'd be funny, but I had no idea. I laughed way harder than I remember doing as a kid. There's some great scenes and a lot of small jokes that went over my head when I was a kid. And part of that is due to the clever writing, but also to the great cast. I've already gone into Buzz and Woody, but all the other returning characters are funny too. Jim Varney, still great as Slinky Dog, and Don Rickles gives my personal favorite performance of his as Mr. Potato Head. I want to touch on the new characters because I think I can speak for all fans of the first movie when I say these guys had some big shoes to fill. But in my opinion, they fit perfectly with the existing character roster. Joan Cusack has obviously proved to have the most staying power out of all these characters as Jessie, but I think they were all pretty good. Kelsey Grammer is a personal favorite actor of mine, and I thought he was awesome as the prospector. Same goes for Wayne Knight as Al, the new villain, who feels very different from Sid and is still really funny. As I said, though, Joan Cusack is really the standout for these new characters. At first glance, the character of Jessie just appears to be a female version of Woody, but she's not. I appreciated that they went in a different direction with her, and I found her backstory pretty sad. As I've said, this movie is really emotionally engaging in ways I didn't expect it to be. This movie's full of surprises, really. One of the things, another thing I was really surprised by is the visuals. They're really good and pretty striking. Like the film opens with an action set piece. Again, unexpected, but it worked really well. It was a damn good action scene. And there's a bunch of visuals that stand out, like the really tall penthouse building, or when Woody's getting like cleaned up. It's really a lot of stuff that stands out in your memory. All in all, I think Toy Story 2 is a step up from a movie I already loved, and that's hard to do. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, of course, because I gave the first one 10 out of 10, and this one's a little bit better. Sequin1 signing out.